Hello there, girls and boys, and actually not welcome back, but this is the first time that we come back to the Sound Alchemy podcast after a long hiatus.
Mm-hmm.
And well, what this is going to be about, well, it's part of the huge improvement, or should I say, fixing up of the whole situation regarding YouTube and our reach on the platform.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it that part of the whole deal, Tiago?
That is indeed. Hello, girls and boys.
Look at that.
How's it going?
Production values.
Yes, I'm very glad to be back, and it's great to have you here as well.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, the Sound Alchemy podcast is a concept that is not new.
No.
It's something that at a given point in time we already did.
Yeah.
But now we're bringing it back with a vengeance.
With a vengeance.
Yes.
In here, we're going to be discussing everything that pertains music, not from the music production perspective. This is going to be interesting, because we're going to be tackling it from the actual perspective of musicians and music makers, if that makes sense to you. So, in this first episode, we're going to be tackling or discussing some of the new developments or some of the announcements that came out of NAMM 2025. And before going live, actually, Tiago shared with me some of the stuff that I should have known. And actually, he's going to be introducing some of those, because he only teased the idea of those guys to me right now. So we're going to be discussing those artifacts. And for those of you who don't know, NAMM show is like, how can I put it? It's a trade show, but it's designed not for musicians, but musicians love to go there. Why? What could you find at NAMM?
Basically, the appeal that NAMM holds for the musician and or the music involved crowd is because where most of the brands make their releases.
Yeah.
Basically, their newest and latest is going to be released there and made available to the public for not only seeing but even testing, and well, it's made available to you if you buy your way in, of course.
So basically speaking, is where everybody who is making or developing products for and trying to convince musicians to buy is where they're going to be found. And let's begin with the first one. What do you have in mind? Should I begin with mine or with yours?
Go ahead.
Okay, so this is the first one that I picked. Let me just make sure that I don't destroy anything.
Yes.
This guy over here is the oak. Can you read that out loud? Because
oak tone.
Oak tone.
Yeah, so you can request my assistant in reading matters.
Take us, perfect.
There it is.
This is actually not the only product they announced, but this is the one that caught my attention the most.
I actually haven't seen this one.
Yeah.
So
what on earth is this? This is not a guitar pedal. It does nothing guitar related, but it looks like a guitar pedal. It has switches like a guitar pedal. If I show you this, but I don't know if you can see that it has a screen. This is a controller for backing tracks.
I wonder who would make use of such.
I don't know. And actually, it has the format for a guitar pedal. And it has the robustness of a badass, highly manufactured guitar pedal.
So you can stomp on it without
You
fear.
can stomp on it with no problems.
Okay.
You can program every single one of those knobs over those buttons over here. But this is the killer app. OLED screen.
Okay.
It tells you what's going on.
Okay.
And it's a MIDI compatible device, so it allows you to actually use it for main stage. I don't know if we might be using it right now to trigger stuff.
Yeah.
And also, it's part of this company that is called Oak. Once again,
Oak Tone.
Oak Tone.
Are you familiar with the company? I don't know.
No, it's the first time I hear about them.
Okay.
But it caught my attention. Of course, the price is not necessarily cheap.
Yeah.
But this is a professional grade product. But this is the one that caught my attention. But look, they also announced this, or at least had it on their boot. This bad boy.
Okay.
Is the same but
mini
button. This is meant to be used with your hands.
Okay.
So I don't know if you know somebody that might be forced to use the other one. Yeah.
No screen though.
No screen. That's it. That's where the difference in price comes in, because this is way more affordable. But this could be great for somebody who is manning, as the graphic here is showing you, manning the computer who is controlling the show. Yeah. In this case, it has a high level of compatibility with Ableton Live, which makes total sense. Ableton Live, for those of you who don't know, is a very robust DAW, digital audio workstation, that originally speaking started off as a great solution for live tracks on the stage. But also, it's so robust and so good that it's been favored by many electronic musicians, electronic music producers, if I express myself in a much better fashion, as their tool of choice, because of how great the integration of those cells and loops that creates the whole apparatus of Ableton Live behave as a music production suite. So this guy actually has a huge level of compatibility, and there's some software that is involved, of course. And well, this is actually something that took me by surprise. What do you think?
It sounds quite interesting, actually, and not only from a technological perspective, but it sounds something that I would be
totally not, totally not ignoring.
When it comes to manufacturing, did you find anything regarding if it seems to be built correctly, seems to be well procured? Yeah.
From what I have seen on the several interviews that I saw and some of the footage coming out of the NAMM show coverage, it looks like a very robust product build wise, because that's the thing. When you are this is device for somebody who is actually performing live constantly, and I don't know if you have experienced some form of malfunctions with gear in front of an audience, and you're
not a fun spot to be in.
No, it's awful.
No.
So you need the best you can get, and not in the sense of capabilities, but robustness.
Yeah, this kind of stuff pays for itself in reliability.
100%. It's not functions what sells the product. It's the fact that it's not gonna die on you.
Yeah, it works. It's gonna survive.
And that's it. And the simpler is the better. And I think, well, you see why I picked it, right?
Yeah.
Looks very good. The price, it could be a little bit expensive from a certain perspective, but if you're performing consistently, you might you see the benefit of it.
Yeah.
And having something that won't fail on you, and especially nowadays, modern stages, even if you're playing at a bar, as the band for a house, as a house band. Now, if you want to be competitive, there has to be some form of backing track.
Yeah. The whole thing with using backing tracks is becoming way more widespread.
It is very widespread.
Because it's now more accessible. There are better tools to make it happen in an easier fashion. Yep. I'd say maybe like 15 years ago, to play with backing tracks was a hassle.
Man, I've been doing this studio thing for the last 15. And I always wondered, with the idea of being able to pull off some form of backing tracks and a high level of choreography on my live shows back in the day, it was financially impossible. And then the world that we live in now, with the offerings that we got access to, it's incredible. For the price is insane. Yeah. I know that it's still a little bit of above the affordable route, but man, compared to what used to be the only viable solution just 5 years ago, you needed interfaces, computers, and stuff. Are they more, man?
Yeah,
there are many solutions to that. So yeah.
Okay, cool proposition.
So do you have anything in mind? Or
look, let me already bring to the table the one that you weren't aware of.
Okay, because that actually got my attention. Is that the opening the new?
So you can go. Yeah,
I think you do it yourself.
Okay, so let me go for it then.
Yep.
In this case,
what do you need?
Let me. I think that's the name of the product, if I'm not mistaken. So go for that one.
Okay, good. So take us to the live feed?
Yes, so live feed, here we are.
Okay.
Okay, first and foremost, that's not even the one that I'm most excited about, but I think that's also worth mentioning.
Is that the one that I liked?
That's not the one that you like.
Okay.
What it is? This is SSL 18, which is a new proposition in the realm of audio interfaces.
Okay. Can you elaborate more on what on earth is that for those of you who might not be familiar with the concept?
Okay, so an audio interface is the device that you use to interface audio coming from the outside world into the inside world of your computer.
And the other way around.
And the other way around as well. Yeah. So but it goes back and forth. For that, you need the ability of converting audio from real world to digital world, and then all the way back as well. So basically, in a nutshell, that's what an audio interface would do. Of course, on higher end stuff, and SSL being one of the brands that usually provides higher end stuff.
Yeah, and I happen to be not a fanboy, but a salad.
So they would come with all sorts of bells and whistles.
Okay.
The interesting proposition here, and this is something that...
This is good. The 4K stuff is very good. I will elaborate on it.
Okay, so it seems to me, and again, you might be able to elaborate on some of the stuff more than me, but from what I gather of this, SSL was finding the way into a price point that wasn't necessarily where they were aiming mostly. So it's the competitors, from what I gathered of this particular product, are on the vein of the Universal Audio Apollos,
the Antelope Audio,
the Antelope Audio, Discretes, and so on and so forth.
Okay, so we're talking about something that from 1,000 to 2,000 depending on the size.
If I'm not mistaken, I think I even have it down here. Give me 1 second.
Go
I
ahead,
think this goes for $1,200.
I mind. Okay, it's very competitive.
Yes, it actually seems that it's fighting at the lower end of that price point.
Yeah, it is. It's because the discrete, the discrete is around 1,400 if I recall correctly. It's close to this, but 400.
Yeah.
And the Apollo, the cheapest one, is at 1,600. Mm-hmm. It's very fiercely competitively priced, man.
And look, when it comes to the IOs,
yes,
I think even
inputs and outputs.
Yeah, inputs and outputs from what I get. Okay, 26, 28.
Okay.
26 inputs, 28 outputs.
But how many physical inputs?
Physical inputs, I think you're gonna have here
8 or 16.
No, I think it's less.
It has to be 8.
No, I think it's 8. It's not 16. Yeah. Less than 16.
Yeah.
And we can confirm this later on. And if you know, you can also tell us. But it seems to be a very good value for money proposition from SSL.
Badass.
And what is interesting as well is not only the device itself, but the way that the brand is positioning themselves in a part of the niche that usually wasn't where it aimed for, because I think they were usually on the higher end of the spectrum, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is. Okay, good. It even has the limiter, the compressor for the microphone. The Phil Collins thing.
Okay. Because one thing that's very consistent, you might attest to it more than me when it comes to the SSL stuff, is the quality of conversion.
I haven't tried converters yet made by SSL, because SSL is solid state logic. Actually, the microphone we're using right now is an SSL microphone, but they are venturing quite a lot into the digital realm. You have seen me using in some other live streams on which I am mixing music using SSL controllers. That's something that is not necessarily outside of their realm of operation. But nowadays they have this particular client of mine. I am giving him some support on something that he's developing, and I suggested him to get a smaller version of this bad boy, the SSL 2, I think is the name. And it's the same as an interface that it's around $300. It has only 2 channels, input and input, 4 outputs. But the preamps are very good from what I have seen and heard out of the converters. I haven't tried one myself, but I like to do my research.
Yeah.
The converters are quite good, and the sound quality is very good. And particularly speaking, the preamps are way better than you might expect. Okay. And especially because of the 4K thing that I mentioned.
Okay.
The 4K thing over here, this thing over here, it's a saturation controller. And when you engage it, you are adding a harmonic distortion to the. I'm speaking very nerdy, but I'm going to put it this way. If you plug in your microphone, you turn on that bad boy, it's going to develop character finally. It's gonna grow some chest hair. Exactly. No, actually develops a beautiful sounding harmonics that it's inspired by the sound of the SSL preamps that I happen to own some of this. But and they have even these guys who are meant to be the ones that I own here, are meant to be a little bit less dramatic. They have plenty of punch, man. When you drive them to a certain sweet spot, you start to get the genius going.
Because on paper they're supposed to be clean, right? They're supposed to be clear.
No, they're meant to be punchy. That's what makes SSL the sound that I like, because they are like they are BCA. I'm gonna avoid going down the rabbit hole of what makes them sound the way they do.
Yeah.
But they have this particular cleanness yet punchiness. They're transient driven, if that makes sense. That's why I like them that much. And that 4K, it comes from the 4000 console, the one that made them famous, and it has a beautiful sound. Okay. Good choice. But you mentioned another one.
Yeah, since we're already on the realm of SSL, we might bring another SSL. Just go back so we can go. No, yeah. Let me look for it then. Put it on the search.
Yes, go for it.
And we're gonna go for the SSL Alpha 8.
Okay.
And this one, not only you'll find it interesting,
I might be buying one.
You might be getting one for yourself very soon.
Okay, I'm not necessarily.
So there it is.
So can you explain to me what on earth is this?
So the Alpha 8, as it says on the title, quite big,
is the ultimate interface expander.
So if extra conversion is something that is interesting to you,
I might be.
You might be considering something like this. Basically, what this does, we already explained the concept of an audio interface a few minutes ago. Basically, what this does is augment the capabilities of your interface, your channel count.
Yes.
Basically, it offers you more converters. I think here you have 8 extra converters, if I'm not mistaken.
Due to the size, but I see tons of lights there. I think it might expand it. Let's see the back. Does it have another photo?
Yes, go. You have to click on this a little more to the left. Okay, so we are at 18 plus 8 outputs.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, no, but that's actually interesting because it expands not only the inputs, also the outputs. That could be handy here, man.
Yes.
For analog sounding.
Yes, through ADAT or SPDIF.
Okay. So the resolution. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna avoid going down the rabbit hole because I'm gonna bore you to death. But this is actually an interesting proposition. Do you remember the price?
I can have it down if it doesn't say there.
Cheaper than the other guy, right?
This is $900.
Yeah, it gotta be. There's no preamps. Yes. You see, I assume there's gonna be the same amount of converters, but that's good.
It's an interesting proposition, and I find that you might see some value in it.
Yeah, there are some more brands that have been doing this before. For example, Focusrite. Focusrite. It has had some, because it could be misinterpreted.
Yes.
Has developed some devices like this before, and they are actually very, very nice. Yeah, I will think about it because this is actually the kind of stuff that it's always comes in handy. So,
would you like to expose a little bit the use case for such a device?
Good question. Look, for example, let's say that you are first. You need to in order for you to record any signal, you need a preamp, right? A preamp is what increases the input of where we are throwing at the you want to record, and makes it loud enough for it to be recorded. As simple as that. Okay? And your interface has a set amount of preamps built in. The higher end stuff comes with better converters, but no preamps. This is a device similar to those. What do you do in such a case? You use external preamps. In this case, you could use this guy, for example, using the diagram here. You can use this. You can buy the SSL, the first one that Diego introduced to us, as the core of your system. Then expand it with this new device, and instead of having access to 8 channels in the way in, you'll have access to 16. Why would you need such a channel count? Easy. If you're recording drums, more likely than not, 8 channels won't be enough. So you'll need more. This is a way to do it. The thing is that for this to work as a recording device, you will also need to have preamps, external preamps, and that opens up a new can of worms, because now you have unlimited options. The problem is that your bank account is not going to be happy. You know what I mean? But this is a much more pro level rather than an entry level product. I'm going to put it that way. But for what it is, and given the price, sounds very interesting. Good choice. Nice.
Okay, so what do you have in store for us then?
Let me show you this. Is this Tonex?
That's Tonex indeed.
Look at this!
There's Tonex release? I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tonex cap, pal. What on earth is that? Tonex, for those of you who don't know, it's a fantastic profiling guitar thing, which in a nutshell, what it does is actually it captures the sound of an amplifier such as that one. Actually, you got it that on frame.
I think we can show it. That guy.
Yeah, that guy. Actually, I was doing Tonex things yesterday. What you do with Tonex, you can capture the amplifier, the way it is set, and then put it inside of a pedal and rocking the limit stuff out of it wherever you are, with a sound extremely similar to the sound that you recorded in the studio. And if you don't happen to be a geek like myself and having access to some amplifiers like that one, no problemo. You can download those bad boys from ToneNet. And it comes loaded with plethoras of greatly designed and recorded profiles for free, by the way. Of course, you gotta buy the device. So it's very good. But then they introduced this, the Tonex Cap. This is what is known as an FR speaker, amplifier, which, if I recall correctly, stands for full range, full response. Okay? And they are in design very similar to what a PA system does. They have no color to them. Why? Because on a device such as Tonex, you're going to be using IRs, input response files that recreate the sound of a certain cabinet of a certain dimension being recorded through a certain microphone, blah, 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 blah. And they are very good. But here's the catch. Whenever you're rocking and you want to be blasted by the sound of the guitar coming out of a speaker, it sounds like it's been recorded by a microphone. It doesn't sound like an amplifier. Of course not. Get me?
Yeah.
The Tonex cap fixes that problem.
Okay.
Because it has a built-in IR stuff that comes Tonex in. You can attenuate because it actually has controls. Let me show you. You can even incline it. It's a monitor. Let me see. Here, those controls don't control the sound of your Tonex or profiler. It doesn't have to be used exclusively with Tonex. Let's say you're rocking a head rush or a the Helix by Line 6. You will use those EQs to change and shape up the sound of the cabinet itself without altering the sound that is gonna be fed to PA.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Making it feel and sound and react the way a real life amplifier would.
And the versatility is quite high.
It doesn't stop there. On the back, you can actually set the effects of this guy, of the amplifier, to be routed. You route the signal through this output to PA, is the one that is going to be amplified. But you can actually, that's mine, thank you. You can you can apply the effects of the cabinet modulation or IR before it goes out. Or after it goes out. So you can do whatever you want on your cabinet without ruining the mix on the end.
Okay.
So good, right?
Very cool.
And doesn't stop there. You have, I think, up to 6 or 8 slots that you can actually use to save the parameters that you dial up. So you can have one that sounds great on a particular rehearsing room, one that sounds great in a different room, and if you dial up one that works on a particular venue, let's say that you're once again one of those a band that plays at a bar every weekend, you can have the one that makes sense for your performances saved up. No more tweaking every time that you arrive to the venue.
Okay.
So good.
So you think that this is a product that's targeted towards the live gigging musician?
It is, because being frank, look, this is not even something that you need as a guitar player, and I will be performing with Tonex on Monday. Would I get that for performance? Yes, but just to blast my body, because I play with in-ears. So it's not for me to get the sound of my guitar. It's always welcome, because that way I don't need to blast my ears that much with guitar tone. But it also makes it will feel like I'm playing it to an amplifier. And that makes sense. Why? Because it gets you pumped. You perform better, right?
Yeah.
And that's something. But how many times do we have to discuss or talk about the drummer's tool that actually vibrates?
Yeah. But look, it's been consistent over the last few years, actually. Many pieces of technology and all of these new releases, or many of them, being targeted towards making the not real feel real.
Yes.
And because I think the first step in the technological race was recreating stuff that was really cumbersome in a more efficient form factor. Let's say the whole thing about modulars, and in every front you got the electro drum kits, and in every front technology kind of went the route of making things easier.
Yes.
Now we're moving on to the next step, which is making the more efficient sound and feel right.
Yep. Because one of the gripes that many people, especially people who grew up or developed their understanding of performing live with by using gigantic amplifiers, they are the first one to say that this is not like the real deal. Of course it's not. And they have a good point. It might sound badass on the other side, but on the stage, if you're used to feel and play to the vibrations of the cabinet or by the coming from the cabinet hitting your body, of course you're not gonna feel the same way, man, and your performance is gonna be hindered. And I love this proposition for that very reason. This is not the only FR speaker you can buy. There is one by Positive Grid that I like a lot. I am this close from buying a pair, but this is the final one because I will have that for my dry. Wet, man,
so fancy.
No, but you see the potential, man.
No, I do see the potential.
You see, and the reason why, look, without disclosing and turning this into a board and into an already geeky show,
we're discussing gear.
Yeah, it gotta be geeky. You're right. Look, my guitar set is rocking something that is known as wet dry wet as a guitar setup. Okay, and in a nutshell, what I'm doing is I have one guitar sound coming from a center speaker, amplifier 1, and the effects are happening on amplifier 2 and 3 on the sides. So you can say that it's a stereo. Yes, it's a stereo. It's a full-on stereo rig. With this, now I can have the tone of my guitar, the dry amp, the center one, being blasted back at me with the sound and the feel and the vibe of something close to the real deal, while my effects come to the sides using a much flatter sound. Man, again, is it overkill?
Well,
depends on the use.
Arguably.
No, it could be overkill if you're just rocking that insane rig for your pleasure on your bedroom. It could be overkill, but it's justified. Yes, if you enjoy it, do it.
Yeah, you have the means and
but for someone like me, I don't know if you might be thinking on performing. You know what I mean.
Let's leave it at that for the time being.
Because in mind, you can use the side speakers of my rig to output the stereo mix.
Okay. Yes.
You're saying, man. You're saying. So yeah, but that's right.
Really cool. Really cool.
That's right.
And I didn't know that there weren't any releases by Tonix. That's actually good.
Take a look at the price.
Yeah, not for the faint of wallet.
No, it's way more expensive than the solutions by Fender and Positive Grid because it has the computer inside that allows the sound of the cabinet to behave very similar to an actual cabinet. That's why it has a particular. It's designed for a particular audience. And again, this is a monitoring solution. You don't need it to blast the audience, because what's the point of blasting an audience if you're rocking a modular that can go straight to the PA? This is for monitors, and also that's why it has the inclination bracket.
But look, I do think that the whole push into making this kind of technology feel right is a very positive push.
Yeah, I like it.
Because the whole thing about bringing the experience on stage to be more efficient than it used to be, but delivering in the ways that it used to as well, I think that also puts the whole live experience back into what it should be.
Yes.
Or at least starts to shift things in that direction once again.
On that note, I would say that we're about to witness a revival of live music. Not in the sense of festivals. Those never go away. But from what I have seen, particularly with Gen Z, since they were forced to live in their houses for way longer than anybody would have expected when they were way younger than, well, depending on which bracket of the generation you pick, they are eager for the live show experience, but small venue, the intimate shows, man. That's where these things are gonna be oof, man, because this allows for the sound of the guitar and the band performing to be loud enough without destroying anybody's faces, while giving the performers the impact of the sound, because this is, again, is not gonna make you perform, it's not gonna make your sound better. It's actually meant to be pointed towards you. But it's gonna make you feel the music, and it's gonna allow you to perform better because you're gonna have that visceral emotion.
Which is already something that's worthwhile from my perspective.
100%. That's why it's justified, man. It's not cheap, but it's great product.
Okay, cool.
Next choice.
Very cool. So move to the next one you got there. What do you have for us?
What is this?
Multi-tracks.
Oh, this is actually talking about live shows again.
Okay.
This is a service. This is something that I wasn't aware of. It's a service that comes with not a plugin, a standalone app for both Mac and iOS. designed for live performance. It's a multi-track synchronization, MIDI, video, everything synced in, and it comes with all sorts of extra bells and whistles. For example, there is a cloud service that allows you to save your shows in case something goes awry on the road.
Does happen.
Allows you to also have access to backing tracks ready for you to drop on your shows. For example, again, that's for a covers band. Imagine not having to produce the tracks. That's actually great for somebody like that, man. And in a world in which, if you're a cover band, the only way for you to keep yourself relevant and getting more job proposals is by expanding the catalog, right? So yeah, it allows for that. Also has a very intuitive way to extend, adapt, and add, for example, another chorus, just in case you want to expand the show, or let's say that we want to double the length of this section so we can have a badass kalimba solo. So
diggity do.
Yeah. So you can, just by the drop of because it uses some form of scenes, if that makes sense.
Like it's chunks. Kind of a modular.
It's modular in that sense. Of course, I in mind that you gotta do it. You gotta program those chunks and stuff before loading them up. But it's very good. It has, I think, there is something channels at your disposal for live shows. The routing is very, very comprehensive. The thing is this: it's a yearly subscription.
You kind of lost me there.
You know what I think about those. It comes with everything that you see here, but it's, I think the actual target audience for this is cover bands. Because having access to the backing tracks just by dropping them on your plug, man.
Yeah, but it's if you're pricing your product at $140 as a subscription, you're probably aiming at cover bands, but the very frequent gigging.
Yeah, the ones that are actually professional. Not the ones that are starting off or just the Sunday cover band that is comprised of the audience, actually the members of the band, of the bar, if that makes sense to you.
But quite cool.
Yeah, very good. It's not necessarily well, they have different tiers. That's the one, the most comprehensive one. You got this one also. This is, even if I recall correctly, is usually promoted as for house of worship. So it's a much more affordable, but it has everything, man. Light controls over lighting, video feeds, MIDI compatible in and out. So yeah, no, it's very, very well crafted.
So the central hub for your performance,
including this. That's actually badass. Look,
remote control.
You can have remote control using an iOS device, man.
Okay, cool.
So it's not necessarily expensive, man. The thing is that it's designed for a particular tier of live musicians.
And it seems to be a good solution, actually.
Yeah. From what I have seen, the execution is flawless, man.
Okay, very
good. No Windows or Android.
Okay, so only
the chosen. Only the chosen people. Okay.
Okay, so let's me see.
You got another one, right?
Yes, I do.
I got a ton, but
I have a few as well.
Okay.
Did you see that the Antelope got a new compressor?
Yes. Type it down.
It's a big ass one.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Yes.
It's the first time that they release something that is not digital based.
Yes.
But I think it's modeled after an API. I think. But look, I might be wrong.
There's an interesting factor to it. Let me see. What's the name of it? OptoTube. I didn't. Opto2A. Might be this one. Let's see.
The second one?
Yes. Go for it. Let me share what we're seeing.
Yeah.
No, not the one.
That's a plugin.
So let me write the whole thing down.
Yeah, please do.
Okay. So.
While he's doing that, I'm gonna introduce you. Antelope Audio is a company that has developed quite a reputation, both good and bad, in the world of interfaces and converters. I happen to be an owner of Antelope Audio, and I think it's a very good solution. But I understand that the sort of hate that it developed throughout the years, because I'm gonna put it this way, it's kind of quirky. The software.
In a way to put
it, but it's not bad. It simply has some form of personality. Okay, what is this?
Okay, look, first what it is, but then I actually picked this guy to be talked about because I think it can be the beginning of a conversation as well. But what this is a compressor.
Yes.
But you will find there's a very interesting price tag to it.
How much is it?
I think if I'm not mistaken, we're talking about $3,000.
It's a stereo one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for those of us who don't understand why a compressor should cost $3,000, do you want to enlighten the audience on why is it justified to pay $3,000 on a compressor?
Because once you buy it, you earn a Grammy. It comes with a Grammy. No.
It's like the toy in the cereal box.
Kinda. No. The thing is that if I recall correctly, this compressor it's actually inspired by a particular fair and childish compressor, a stereo bus compressor, if that rings any bells on you. And it's a tube-driven compressor, such as the one as about depending on which side of the world you live, but you know what I mean. Tubes. They have a particular sound to them, which is very musical, and it's the sound of many Grammy Award records. Why would you spend that much money on a hardware, on a piece of hardware? Because it sounds better. I'm gonna say it right away. I happen to own some outboard gear here in the studio, and I rocked for the longest of times in my career plugins, and they're very good. And we have reached a point in which is not only very good, they're insanely good, to the point of them being a little bit concerning how good they are. But they do something, well, hardware does something that digital doesn't. I was thinking of Sega. But, and it's adding this musicality. There is something reactive to it. And modern recording environments and modern production environments are using what is known as a hybrid system. You got some good pieces of hardware and combine the sound of the hardware with the power of plugins. Because one problem with hardware is that recallability is insanely tough. You never dial them back exactly where they were.
Are you aware of what this is?
This is a compressor, stereo bus compressor.
No. But are you aware of,
I only know. I only
its
saw
particularity?
it. No, what makes it different? Because I just saw the announcement.
It makes it different because it solves this.
It has DSP.
It is integrated with a software, and it is motorized. So recallability is no longer an item.
How much?
Because look, this this is why I brought this to the conversation.
Okay.
Because this is trying to make the best of both worlds. The analog sound that you just described for the last 10 minutes with the software recallability, with the software efficiency.
You just made a huge hole in my bank account.
I understand that I did. But look, this is the reason why I wanted to bring this to the conversation, because I do think that this is the future. Because keeping with the tendency that I just pointed out a few minutes ago, things first became more practical.
Yeah.
Then now we're making them better. And this guy is actually blending the best of both worlds, because or at least is attempting to. I never heard how it sounds, but I imagine it sounds really good. But the idea here, it is to be the best of both worlds.
Do you know if it doesn't have converters, right?
I don't think so.
It's only digitally controlled. Is it doesn't? So you don't do the conversion in the box. Let's see.
You can. I believe you can, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't like that. Does it has a USB?
USB Type-C port for control and updates.
Okay, good.
Yes.
That's excellent. Let me explain.
It's awesome, isn't it?
Man, now it's part of the budget, man. Damn. Okay, look. Let me make this. Let me try to control myself first.
Yes.
I'm going to try to explain to you why I made such a fuss about it not being built-in converters. You'll see, when you are starting to buy, or if you're already buying outboard gear, it's because you already have the digital realm to a point on which the next logical decision is gonna be bringing some of the real world sounding stuff to the mix, right? If it had converters, it will made itself redundant in such an environment. And if you're if you're part of the population that is willing to cash in 3,000 greens on something like this, you already have badass converters, and it will make the price either more expensive, and since it's no more than 3,000, would mean that it's not necessarily top-notch technology, or it might be some of the topography, some of the internals of the device, when it comes to the quality of the sound, wouldn't be not necessarily the best, or they will be scheming, cutting some corners. This is awesome, and also means another thing: no latency, man. Because it's gonna be using the entirety of your main converter.
And look, I do think that this is probably the future of analog, because analog never lost its charm,
No.
because it always delivered in ways that digital could only attempt to.
Yes. Can you
But
show them the screen once again?
but the thing is, analog has its shortcomings, and they are very big
Huge.
shortcomings, because you will be able to elaborate on them more than me. But recallability is not only for the sake of being able to redo something that you did before. It's
No.
for the sake of being able to move on between projects
Easily.
because if you only working with analog stuff, that means that all of your equipment is committed to whatever you're doing.
Yeah, it's always compromised.
And that can be a big issue, especially if time is money. If
Yeah.
you're making money with this,
Yeah.
that can be a big issue.
Yeah, running a commercial studio, and you gotta be quite precise on which projects you're gonna be using the big guns on which you want, because those projects tend to be longer, and also the back and forth that is involved in mixing. That what I mean with this is you as the mixer and then the client. Well, you always have these conversations and you show them different versions of the mix. If there is something that has to be readdressed and you are already working on our mix, damn.
Yeah.
I've been working on the last 3 years on developing a better recall system. I'm not showing it yet because it's still in, but I think it's gonna be effective. But it's based on pen and paper, man. Yeah, it's like full analog, man.
Yeah.
Why? It's better. It's better. You'll see once I will shoot a video explaining that. But
I do think this is the future.
you knock my socks off with this one. This is good. Yeah, and look, I also made such a fuss about this thing with the converters because there are more products like this. This is not the first one that is controlled, digitally controlled. There is one released like 2 years ago. It's actually, it's just a saturation box, okay, with valves. It's around $1,000, and it has 4 inputs, and it looks great, and it also sounds great, which is the most important one. The problem with it is that it doesn't have physical inputs,
Okay.
so you gotta do everything digitally. So it means adding it to, as part of your signal path or your converter array. Many more things happens. And if you're working with a particularly high bit there are problems with it.
Yeah.
And I happen not to be a fan of it. And one of the biggest problems is that when you add more of those, the latency could become a problem when you're rocking controllers. And that becomes a problem. It's similar to what happens with playing with high buffer. Try that with an automation run.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
no, it's not good. That's why I'm so excited about this. Great,
Okay.
great pick, man.
What else do we got then?
I got then. Bam!
What am I looking at?
The wing.
Okay.
Behringer's wing. This is a digital mixer. 32 channels, man.
All right. Or PAL.
Pal.
It looks
And
like
look,
a microwave.
it looks like a microwave. It's big. It's big. But look! And it does everything.
And some apparently.
And some. No, yeah, for real, this thing is great, man, because it has a digital input, so you can actually you can record the show while streaming the outputs of your backing tracks in multi-output and being seen by the multi-output as a multi-output. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it has digital in. Also has access to this section over here, if I recall correctly. The Ethernet looking things here.
Yes.
They are part of their badass monitoring technology that allows you to send like 1,000 channels just in one cable, for real. Very good. Now this is very good. It's highly recallable. Midas preamps, because Behringer now owns Midas. Take it for whatever it is. The touchscreen also compatible with, can be controlled through the use of a web browser on any device. It has. I think this guy also has its own Wi-Fi network, so allows you to bypass any form of stuff for the controls, the external controller, and very good. It comes loaded with a plethora of actual plugins because you use plugins. It's a digital mixer, and recordability to the fullest on that format. It's like 6. Is it? Six units?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like 6 units.
Looks like it.
It's 6 or 8. It's big.
It's a chunker.
It's a chunker. The price also is not necessarily a bargain, but it is a bargain for what it does. And again, we gotta look at this from the perspective of the target audience, the demographics and the needs. Some people. This is actually a hugely successful successor to their other X32. I think you have seen those. The ones that are inline. Yeah. Those are very very popular because they are not necessarily the best.
They're considerably cheaper, aren't they?
Yeah, because they are less powerful than this. But for example, they don't have the controls built in. You require a web browser to control them at the full potential. This also has a much more powerful DSP, so allows you to add more plugins, more stuff, and deliver a better show. And for someone who is, in mind, again, talking about that hypothetical cover band, this is for the sound guy, for those guys, or somebody, a small act like us, touring.
Yeah,
that's great, man. And if you consider the amount of money involved in amassing a huge, a good but concise mobile rig, man,
I can go a lot higher than this.
Ooh, grossly. So this is a very good proposition. I liked it a lot. I even consider one for a future project, but not necessarily this. The more affordable.
Yeah, the slimmer one. Yeah,
the slimmer one. Because
this guy's quite big.
It's quite big, and also it's designed to be used on the road.
Yeah. But even the size itself, I'm focusing on the size, not as it being a deal breaker or anything.
No,
just the size tells you even who's he aimed for.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be for your average act playing on the bar on the corner.
Yeah, no. It's let's say I don't know, like a hard rock level covers band. A hard rock hotel, for example. The one that is always there every 3 nights per week.
Yeah.
2 hours and a half shows. That kind of stuff. So yeah.
But it does seem like they put the effort into making it look like a microwave.
For real. Look, I never thought of it as a microwave. Now I can stop thinking of a freaking microwave because even the screen itself looks like where you put the food in, man.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, well.
So, moving over. Next one.
Yeah.
I think we're recording one.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're gonna lose your shirt.
Don't know what am I looking at.
You're looking at this. What is that? This is a controller, a MIDI controller to be precise.
Okay.
But it has plenty of different inputs when it comes to the way that you interact with the sound or with the signal being sent. You can personalize it to your taste. So I assume that in this area we got.
This is a Surface.
It's a Surface. Let me see if there is a demo somewhere, because it has controls. Yeah, look, it's that, and you can assign it to wherever you want, and it reacts to your performance, playing, or even controlling effects. Yeah.
So you assign parameters of whatever.
In mine, Touch OS on steroids, man.
Okay.
And it has touch. It has intensity, velocity. It has EMP, if I recall correctly. MP, sorry. MP, which is a protocol. Have you ever seen the Seaboard?
Yeah.
That thing.
It's the one that Jordan promotes, right?
Yeah, but also Jordan does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not exclusive to Rolly, that technology, and is now available on not only those kind of synthesizers. I have a plugin. I have a virtual instrument that it's actually MP compatible.
Okay.
And if you get the proper interface, you actually have more control. You get the vibrato, the height of the all of those, everything that you're seeing the performer doing.
Yeah.
All of those. Those are signals that could be used to trigger and control sound with your performance. Very good, right?
Yeah, it's very cool. And actually, I find interesting all of these new technologies that are aiming at different forms of expressivity that are using a more modern take on it.
Yes.
Because this this is modern music. This is modern music making.
I see something like this being used by Peter Gabriel, York.
Yeah.
That kind of more avant-garde sounds. But I saw it and I could see myself using one, man.
Because look, I think this kind of stuff always have as a first impression that kind of gimmicky feel to it. But honestly, I think that's mostly because it's still very new.
Yes.
I think we're still on our way to finding good ways to incorporate this into actual music making.
I agree. But nowadays, also technology itself has improved to the point of it not only being a gimmick. Because some of the gripes, for example, this could be, you can make the argument, this is just basically a glorified iPad. Because we have been rocking apps like this for eons now. Yes, but no. Why? Because what makes this different from the iPad is that it actually has a tactile feel to it. And also, it's not only touch sensitive, it's also pressure sensitive and dynamic sensitive. So it has way more. And the fact that it's compatible with protocols, because this is basically a communication device. It's not a sound generating device. It expands its chances to reach to reach a full potential to its fullest.
Okay, it's a controller.
It's basically a controller, but a very intense, a very badass one. So the only thing, well, the price again is priced in accord to the target audience. Again, I actually have one that is very inexpensive. Is that X-Vibe?
The Airwave.
Oh,
which kind of relates to it in a sense.
Let's go over that one. Let's go over that one. Look, this is the Airwave by Rolly. You actually mentioned that you also saw that one as part of your picks. Can you introduce to the
So basically the Airwave is not is that stand like thing that you see there in front of you, and what it does is basically it has sensors. It's infrared, if I'm not mistaken, which are tracking the movement, the motion of your hands.
Let me show you. It has a live demo.
Okay, so go for it. It'll be probably even better.
Look, and I watched them myself before going live because I wanted to make sure that I didn't show you something controversial.
Yeah.
But the thing is this: you'll see that the performer here is rocking one of their pianos.
Yeah.
One of Rolly's pianos, and the second example actually is using the C-board, which is what made this company famous. You'll see. Okay, I think that was quite self-explanatory, right? But let me show you now the same, but with the C-board, and I will elaborate on both.
It's not being replicated. Give me a second.
Okay, there it is. Go back. Now with this, I think this is where the full potential of the device due to the expressivity added by the
C-board itself.
you got it. What do you think?
Look, as I mentioned when we looked at the previous this thing that you mentioned, I forgot the name of the product.
The MP, no sé qué.
Yes, I think if you can look beyond the gimmick aspect of it, because also once again, it is kind of flashy. It's something that is interesting. Oh, you're controlling parameters with your the flow of your hand and stuff.
Similar to theremin.
Yes, there is a bit of a gimmick aspect to it, but if you can look beyond that, there's definitely something to be said about the level of expressivity that can be achieved by being able to control your sound by your motion.
Yeah, because on a hindsight, what I see this being basically doing is you're assigning different modulation controls that could be assigned to any knob on a MIDI controller, but to the areas on which the sensors, the optic sensors of the device will understand them as such. Allowing you to do the whole thing with your hands rather than of course you will do it with your hands, but through the motion of your hands rather than you twisting knobs and stuff, adding an extra level of emotionality to the performance, which is similar to what you do as a singer. Because I saw it and okay,
yeah,
when you're singing, you use your hands not just for theatrical effect, but it also helps you to express the sentiment involved in wherever you're singing to the appropriate fashion. Think of Freddie Mercury doing that thing. Is that he did it not just to look cool, because it actually you know what I mean?
Yeah, because the whole thing projects the emotion that is meant to be projected there. It's not only coming out of the singing. The singing is a good portion of it, but it's not the whole.
No, because it's emotion. It's emotion what makes a performance be good or bad, not technique. You can call me on that one. But it's basically that.
Yeah.
And this has plenty of things going on that makes it appealing to me. But I have many questions. For example, I think it's going to work great on a controlled environment like that. Live, don't think so, man.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what kind of technology is using for the optical controls. Well, the sensors used to monitor the motion of your hands. Because it's not cameras. Well, because I also could see that there is an app running on the background.
Yeah, and actually, when I saw the whole thing about Rolly, I didn't even see about the airwave specifically. I saw about the piano.
Yeah.
That is supposed to be integrated with that.
Yeah.
Because they
have a they just to give a little bit of context. You can right now pre-order this thing with the piano, which is the first example we saw. Continue.
Yeah, because apparently they created an ecosystem. I think they're calling Rolly whatever system, which through the use of AI, which is the style of the time,
everything has it. Yeah.
Plus the capability of this device to map your motion as assisted learning.
Oh.
So the whole system, because the piano has again a little bit of gimmicky, but I can see the use for it.
Let me show you.
The piano itself has
lights
on the keys. So since the thing can track your motion, it can probably correct your hand positioning.
Like that.
Yes, it can show you. It can gamify the whole thing a little bit because you're gonna be lighting up as you need to play them on the right timing and stuff like that. So there's a little bit of gamification of the learning process, which for some people might be a better way to learn.
It is.
So, and using an interesting take on the matter.
Yeah, but that was the way that they introduced it, right? Because in reality, the selling point is the use.
It's the expressivity.
It's the expressivity.
Yeah.
The studio use. It would be badass if you could do that live, man. Because it would look freaking awesome.
I think one of the reasons, and this is just me assuming, okay? If you think differently, you can even tell me in the comments.
Yes.
Maybe the reason why they're going down the route of making this a learning tool is because maybe it won't perform as well as we would hope on different scenarios.
Yeah, the live environment.
Yeah.
Because in the studio is no problem. It will perform correctly. Because I need to see more on it and to look at the technology involved. Because it could be that lasers and lights used on a live environment might get in the way of the performance of the device. It might not be the case. Because it looks awesome. I saw it like, damn, that would be great live.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you noticed, well, those watching, on the live example, he played a chord and then he pushed his hands upwards and the chord, it was like if he was pressing the hold or the sustain on the keyboard, and while raising his hands, some of the sound itself evolved, like it had some form of modulation applied to it.
Yeah.
So cool.
Very cool. And even for production, I think it
Yeah.
can be an interesting way to develop and come up with new sounds.
Yeah.
Because since it's way more organic, let's say the way that you're coming up with sounds, you're not twisting knobs.
Agreed.
I think you can kind of derive yourself into very interesting results.
Yes.
So yeah, I think it's an interesting take all in all.
Yeah. The only issue with it is that, let's say that you write a piece using this.
Oh, you're never going to be able to fully replicate it as is.
No problem. That's why the backing tracks from before comes in.
And everything comes together.
Yeah, look at that. What is this?
That is Airwave. That's the one we're at.
Okay.
Don't know. Eagle app.
No. No.
Recut.
No.
Don't. Alpha 8. I think I think we saw those guys.
Okay, we already covered them all. The thing is that I have some honorable mentions.
Okay.
If you could type down X-Vibe cable controller.
X-Vibe.
X-Vibe
Cable.
cable tester. The things that they announced one, and that's actually very affordable. And I saw it like, I need 3.
Okay.
Do we have Toman or something?
X-Vibe checker.
The hell is this?
Don't know where you at. Hey, is it X? The letter X?
X, yes.
Vibe.
Vibe, like VV.
Okay. Vive.
Vibe, yes.
Okay, so get me to texting again. Vive.
I thought I had the
Why
win.
is it giving me a dot? I don't want a dot. Stop correcting me. I hate when it corrects me in ways that I don't want to.
Yeah. AI for
X Vive. Okay. Yeah. See.
control test cable tester.
Portable audio tester. That should be
Yeah.
the one. So go for that.
Look at this, man. Look at that.
Okay. Look at that. I
Yes!
have no idea what I'm looking at.
It's no, this is a cable tester. You have some experience with cable testers, Thiago.
Yes.
What do they do?
They make sure that your cable is
It's in
working
working
or not
condition.
working, and they tell you where the problem is.
Yes. This thing is as big as this.
Mm-hmm.
As a
And
cigar.
is that but that from factor?
It has a speaker.
So you can actually
You
hear.
can hear if there is noise, not only
Okay.
and the size, man. And I think it's $150.
Okay, the form factor is actually impressive.
I saw that. Man, I'm gonna have one of those on any gigging bag.
Yeah.
Think about
Yes.
man, how many times do you need a cable tester on the stage?
Every single time.
Every time, because always, like certain people, every freaking time. Badass,
Yeah, no,
badass,
bingo.
and it's actually one of the things that. Okay, good.
Yeah, give me two.
Yeah, great idea, and on an affordable package. Great. So that will be my honorable mention. Do you have anything else? before we call
Let
it
me
quits?
see.
Because
What-
you got, some of the things that when we were doing the list, we didn't coordinate.
Yeah.
That was part of the plan because it was fun to see. You saw that actually he surprised me with SL stuff, and I surprised him with my crazy ass stuff that I found.
Okay, there's actually one that I don't even think we need to bring it in, but we actually mentioned that before in a
Go.
conversation between us. The whole thing about the Roland drum link.
Oh yeah,
big-
yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, the drum link is basically Roland pushing the boundaries of wireless technology, to put it in a pretty way. And they are actually trying to make their electric drums wireless, but that's not correct because they don't go wireless. They go less wired. So I'm gonna make it kind of as an honorable mention because you already saw by my sarcastic take on the matter that I'm not necessarily a fan of the product.
What's the name?
Drumlink.
It's gonna be everywhere, man.
Roland.
They just look. If you can show them a body pack, which one?
The thing is that I don't think that it's fully released yet. I think they just announced
It's just
it.
announced. It's just for them to have an idea.
Okay, so basically,
Which one is it? The first one?
Drumlink. No, that's
This guy?
I think go for that one. Let's see. I think that one's the
The
one.
second one.
Yes. Let me take us to the live feed.
Okay. There is. Yeah, is this.
So basically, what this device does is, rather than sending a cable from your, let's say, your cymbal pad from your drum module, which will be the normal route for an electric drum kit, you will send a cable from your cymbal pad to this,
The box. transmitter?
sender, a transmitter, which will be received wirelessly through the receiver,
Yes.
which would make you exactly 0 cables lesser because you're still sending a cable through
Yeah.
through the device.
Look, for those who are not familiar
Yeah.
with electric drum kits, they work in this way. Wherever you see on the kit, it's basically buttons, and the sound that you hear is not produced by the cymbals or the pads themselves. The sounds are produced by being triggered inside of a module. And every time you slam any of those bad boys, there is a MIDI signal, an electric signal, that containing the information that pertains to the intensity, the speed, and which pad was hit. So the computer, that it's your module, understands and reproduces that one, and it's being blasted back. This thing is actually an in-between.
Yeah.
So instead of using the cord that comes out of the module and connect it to each of the pads, you're going to connect each of the pads to something similar to that thing that he has over there.
To this.
That's show them on the big camera.
Yes. Well, this one's probably going to be better seen.
That it's an actual body pack, a transmitter for a wireless guitar or microphone system.
Yes.
And as you can see, it's very similar in size and looks when compared to this new development. Is there any benefit out of it?
Look, my personal take on the matter. I think as is, this product as it is almost no benefit.
Would you say is product finding a problem?
Is a product finding a problem and trying to sell you a solution? Yes, at this point in time. What I do like about this, and the reason why I make it my honorable mention, is because I like where this can go. The whole thing about fostering better ways to go wireless
It's always welcome.
is
So we
always
can develop
welcome.
more cancer.
Yes, always welcome. No, but for real, I think this is the beginning of something that can become a good proposition. I don't think it's a good proposition at this point in time.
I'm gonna give you my 2 cents.
Go.
Guitar stuff nowadays uses MIDI as well,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been using MIDI for a good while.
Mm-hmm.
What if, since this is sending MIDI, what if you could attach that to a controller, maybe a ribbon-like controller on your guitar, and the output of that bad boy goes into that thing, the transmitter, and it transmits the MIDI data to the receiver on the end, and maybe you could trigger, I don't know, something fun like video reacting to performance. Just saying, no, I'm truly just.
There are ways. There are ways.
There are ways,
Yeah.
because the idea is the thing is that this could be, as it is right now, seen as a product finding, looking for a problem to solve. But the engineer in my head is like, wait a second. And according to them, because I read the press release, this is so fast that they are using the term micro latency.
Yeah.
It's so goddamn fast that it's virtually non-existent. Because when it comes to these wireless systems, there is actual latency that depend on the quality, the distance. There are many factors that there is some form of delay that could be problematic in certain instances. And this thing seems to be that goddamn fast that it's basically imperceptible.
Yes.
And of course, the information being transferred wirelessly is minute compared to the audio, but damn, the possibilities are quite big. And right now, I don't know why Roland presented a solution to this when they have keyboards and stuff.
Well,
Get me? Like,
yeah,
why?
yeah.
Well, wherever. Probably it's because they are showing the actual power of this.
yes. Yeah.
Because one thing, you need one transmitter per pad.
I think there is a stereo. You have two
you
pads.
have to.
Yeah.
Ooh!
Yeah, but for a ride you need 2. For the hi-hat you need 2. You need a bunch.
Yeah,
I think you need 8 for a standard size electric drum kit. I think you need 8 transmitters and one receiver.
You know what's the worst part? They're not compatible with the new badass USB based snares and cymbals.
Yet they will be, but
No,
still.
I think it's due to the bandwidth, because those are carrying a lot of info. The ones that were announced a few months ago when they released the new version of the V series, the snare actually requires MIDI and a USB, because the USB is what sends the thing underneath and stuff. All of the extra stuff that the one we got here, even though it's a fantastic drum kit, is using the technology that this thing is bound to.
You know what can be a potential use case here for this? Because the receiver is bypassing the module. Okay.
Yes.
You of course need to send from the receiver to the module if you're going down that route. But let's say you are not going down that route. You're using sound banks for your computer, for instance.
Oh.
Then you could bypass the module entirely. So rather than upgrading your module, you could just get these guys, and you could
have the laptop on the back.
Yeah, so it's gonna be laptop and this guy and no drum module actually. So it can be a way to escalate your kit.
Probably. Yeah, no, it doesn't sound like a bad idea, man. It doesn't sound like a bad idea.
Plus the wireless thing.
Yeah, the things that you already have that solution on your own electric drum kit in the form of a MIDI cable that can be acquired for less than $3 wherever.
So yeah, just trying to find ways.
No. The thing is that this is in my book. It feels more like a test or proof of concept rather than a product.
Agreed. That's why I'm looking forward to see where they take this.
Yes. This is one of the rare instances of today's live streams on which I'm not necessarily going to be speaking or referring to this as this is designed for. No. This is not. I truly don't see the point. I'm mesmerized by the. Okay, technology wise is fantastic, but.
Why?
Why? I don't see. Why would I buy it?
Yeah.
So, what do you think of the releases for this year?
I think there's some pretty interesting releases. I find it interesting the commonality, as I pointed out before as well, of many analog turned digital kind of stuff, or making the whole digital stuff feel better.
Yeah.
And I like that push. I like that push. I like to see that this has been a trend when it comes to the development of new technologies, because it also shows a tendency of the revival of legit things. That's kind of what I want to say.
On that note, can you show them this?
Yes.
Even part of the release was also these drums. Those are electric, by the way.
Look very good.
They look like the real deal, man.
Yeah. Looks very good.
Because they look like drums that are actual drums. And it's due to that, man. And I will use that as my own takeaway, because I also you actually knocked my socks off when you mentioned that this year it feels that the push for technology for technological sake, even though has been fantastic, has peaked in the sense of, wait a second, we're missing out on what makes this technology have some form of actual impact on us. And for example, using Tonics, the whole cabinet, it's not a speaker. It's trying to give you the closest you can get to the real experience, so you can perform better, while giving you the benefits of the modern technology that it's profiling and Tonics itself. The same happens with this. Probably we haven't found a proper use for this stupidity behind making electric drum kits wireless. It's not that, damn it. But the push behind them looking more and closer to real deal is due to that. And even the one we have here, it looks like a small kit. It doesn't look like electric kit at all. It just looks like a smaller kit, and it makes sense. It makes sense having or providing a better situation for the musicians on the stage to perform better. It's not just now improving efficiency. It's now trying to. It's clear that the market is starting to ask for solutions to the performance aspect. It's taking into account also a little bit more the inspirational aspect of music, because not only efficiency, because I think for the longest of time it was the drive for making things more and more efficient. And now I think we're pushing in the direction of making them better. And you know why? There is a need for actual live music again. And I'm quite hopeful for that. I think that's because they are producing stuff that is being demanded by the market. It's not that they are trying to you'll buy it because I say so. No, it's because there is some form of demand. The companies behind these products, they do have some form of access to some research information, and it's clear that the market is starting to ask for particular products, and it's due to this. I have high hopes for the next 5 years to become some sort of renaissance of small and mid size gigs.
And I do hope you're right.
Yeah, man. Because,
Yeah.
but I think it's starting to show signs of it, due to everything that we have been experiencing just in the last 6 months, man.
Yeah,
It's
actually.
been crazy,
Mhm.
and the cultural aspect of everything and how much everything has been flipped
Mhm.
all over its head, to the total opposite of what has been the tendency of the last 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
It's a clear indication that, man, no, we had enough. We're enough.
It's kind of cool to be able to look forward and imagine that they can get better.
I can't believe that I just said that I am hopeful for the future, man. So on that note, take us home.
Okay, so that's not you. That's
Look at that.
This is me. Look at that.
Marshmallows.
So I hope you took something good out of this. I had a good time actually talking about some of the newest stuff going on. Geeking out, but it's also good to make some projections, you know.
Yes.
But well, if you took any enjoyment or something interesting out of this channel, please consider joining the channel. If you're not haven't joined yet, subscribe, so that way you can be part of more conversations. And also you can support us by listening to our music on Apple Music or Spotify, and also by following us on social media such as Instagram or X, where we can be in touch in a much more personal manner. And I think there's only one thing left to be said then,
which is never let anybody tell you what to dream about. And remember that we will see you when we see you.